Okay, so then we have the order out of chaos methodology. Oh, before I get to that, let's go back to 9/11. Are you familiar with Dmitry Kulesov?
Oh, the name does sound familiar, but I can't picture his face.
Okay. Remember when I was talking about earlier about how they are revising things on the internet so that you can no longer find references to the original reality, okay?
Right.
They're revising things. Okay, he was a Russian. You can find, people can find this on my blog as well. If they just type in 9/11, they'll find it. But he knew that they used mini nukes on 9/11. And not just mini nukes. They also used, like you said, they used explosives. There's evidence that there was thermite. But they also used mini nukes, and he became aware of it because of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, in which we had to share with Russia any peaceful uses of nuclear bombs. And here's the interesting thing. There were two buildings built this way, the towers and the Sears Tower in Chicago, which Silverstein also tried to purchase
Mm-hmm.
because they had to prove that these buildings could be brought down on their own footprint, and using mini nukes was part of that design, which is how he knows. So there's a brilliant presentation. It's several hours long that he gave. It's on my website. But here's what's really interesting, okay? This is the reality revision that's happening to hide what he knows. What did they call what happened at 9/11? What did they call it? They called it ground zero. Ground zero meant, at the time in a dictionary, the space directly above or at a nuclear detonation. Dmitry went back through all of these dictionaries, and they have altered the definition of ground zero. They have even backdated these digital dictionaries and removed it. It doesn't have the original definition anymore, okay? This is reality revisionism.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the other essay, and this is these all go together. This one is called Unsustainable Reality Revisions and the Order Out of Chaos Birth. This is really, really important because this is something that people can't grasp, although again, this mentality has been seeded into the collective through the periphery, through movies and whatnot. When we see this satanic or demonic figure standing there triumphantly in front of a scorched earth in the background, and then we wonder the logic, what was the point of destroying something that you actually wanted to rule over a dead world, right? Why would you do that? This is what people don't understand. This is what Order Out of Chaos methodology is for, because it's based on the principle of building the new world on the ashes of the old one. So, and this is what I was talking about before from the other essay. We have two different realities competing for full manifestation, and neither can fully manifest as long as the other exists.
Oh my God, the last Superman movie, Man of Steel. That was the entire plot. You just said it right there.
I didn't see it, so I don't know. Is that
Oh
right?
my God, when you see it, I mean, it's so blatantly out there,
Yes.
right there in front of you. And if people can't understand that, we're in a lot of trouble. Humanity is in serious, serious problems right now. So continue, please.
Okay, so some of what I'm going to, excuse me, read now comes from this essay, and I'll try to paraphrase it, but it's important that people understand Order Out of Chaos methodology, because this is the way in which this is part of the reality revisionism methodology. And when you can identify these patterns, you can see them working everywhere, and then they're changing something, and you can go back and look for the factual reality behind it that they're trying to hide. That's really important. So part of the Order Out of Chaos methodology is not just building the new world on the ashes of the old one and having to completely blot out and consume one to manifest the other. But it has memes that go along with it that are almost in and of themselves a form of lateral narrative binder, and one of them is the incompetence meme. Okay? So I'm going to read this brief paragraph to help summarize what I mean here. In the same way our ignorance is their strength and our individual freedoms inhibit their collective power, so too is our chaos their order. They cannot have one without the other. In other words, what we view as unfolding global chaos is actually a carefully scripted and manufactured order, which means that our current reality is being resculpted and redesigned and reordered to manifest their version. okay? Now this I'm sure at this point is really easier for people to see when it comes to all of these other countries, right? There's all this chaos. This group of people that are bent on global dominance and global governance are going into these countries and destabilizing them. That's the chaos. Because they plan to put in their own puppet ruler that will go along with global governance, which is the order that they get out of the chaos. They're building a new world on the ashes of the old one. So people can see this principle working, okay? Where it's not, I mean, this is playing out over and over and over, but I think where people are not aware that it's working is in the environmental movement, okay? And this is the Hegelian dialectic, which is thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And that basically means that you create a problem, and this is order out of chaos methodology, okay? These go together. You create a problem on purpose. You blame it on something else. You obviously don't want the entire population of Earth to know that you're the one behind the problem. You blame it on something or someone else, and then you terrify people. Oh my God, this is terrible. We must do something about it. And then when you get everyone to agree or even clamor for help, yes, come help, save us, you institute the solution that you always wanted to institute. It's the revision you always wanted, but in order to do it without resistance, you have to con people into participating and going along with it, even wanting it, welcoming it. So this is part of the order out of chaos thing too. But then I want people to really recognize this particular aspect is the incompetence meme. This is, you can see this everywhere with Ebola, can't you? There was the, what was she, the medical advisor to CNN or something, was supposed to be quarantined for 21 days, and the media caught her getting a hamburger, right? She broke the quarantine to get takeout food. All these people are incompetent. And then the CDC, you know, they're letting people infected from other countries come here. Oh, they're incompetent. Oh, Obama, he's incompetent. Everybody's incompetent. No, this is competent incompetence. It's order out of chaos. They want chaos. They need chaos because their order is the replacement for the reality we had before the chaos. You see? Now, okay, so this meme also creates a psychic block because it loops thought patterns into thinking these people are just idiots. They just don't know what they're doing. But in fact, they know exactly what they're doing. And if you can keep people looped into the idea that these people are just incompetent, the mind never strays out of the loop long enough to recognize it's purposeful and that there's intent behind it. It loops them back to the narrative.
Crystal, I am noticing people are starting to wake up and they are starting to ask these questions. I mean, someone that I just never imagined, a friend of mine, a long-time friend of mine, she started asking me questions a few months ago. It's like, I stopped watching television. I'm like, why? Because it's all the same thing. It's like it's a movie plot being played out on the news. I'm like, oh, you noticed that? Well, yeah, but just what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do, so I just turned it off. I said, well, that's one position to take.
That's right. That's, I mean, it is true. We need to get them out of the fiction, but then they need to start looking at reality, right? If you know that you're getting up every day and responding to a fiction, don't you want to know what you should be responding to? What is really happening?
Yeah, Crystal, I think that there are so many people, and like you said, we're running out of time, that I feel that there are so many people that have thrown their hands up. They're so confused. They've been so misdirected. They don't know who to trust anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing that I endeavor to teach people wherever I come across it, and that is the design and what I refer to as proper knowledge. Because if people have proper knowledge, they can't be snowed. You can't do it. So let me give you an example of what I mean with the Ebola narrative, the Ebola pandemic narrative. This is how bad it is, and I really hope that people get what I'm about to say, and I really hope it makes the hair on the back of their neck stand up, because this is really how far gone it is, okay? Millions of people, maybe even billions of people all over this planet are being taught to fear an Ebola virus pandemic. They're even talking about, you have all these lateral narrative binders about, oh, how you can communicate it this way, and we're working on a vaccine. Ebola is not a virus, it's a parasite. It's a worm parasite. You cannot vaccinate against a parasite.
Yep.
Okay? So if they come up with a vaccine, what in the hell will actually be in it? You know, people have all kinds of theories. You know, it's a microchip, it's this, it's that. I don't know what it is, but it damn sure isn't going to be an Ebola virus vaccine, because there is not an Ebola virus. It's a parasite. You cannot vaccinate against a parasite. This entire thing is a fraud. It's an absolute fraud. It's not real. And then if we look at the Sandy Hook quote, massacre, right? Not 3 days after I finished that essay on reality revisionism, and of course that essay goes into, this is why they use the term theater. You know, you have the Middle Eastern War theater. That's the term they use. They call it theater. This is why they use crisis actors. It's not, you know, it's not real. There's a wonderful researcher into Sandy Hook, and his name is Wolfgang Halbig. He did a presentation that you can find, I hope you can still find on YouTube, where he did this presentation in person with a group of Oath Keepers, which I also recommend people check into. And he explained that he knew these people were actors. He knew who the lead actors were, he knew who the supporting actors were, and he also had copies of their scripts. See, this is the thing. These people know that we don't respond to, you know, as Kissinger used to say, and I'm sure probably still believes, it's not a matter of what is true. It's a matter of what is perceived to be true, because that's what people respond to.
Crystal, they made a movie called Wag the Dog that is describing exactly what you're talking about. They made a movie on it.
That's right. And people, I think people are beginning, I think people have seen the black cat walk by twice enough times. They have seen the inconsistencies and discontinuities enough to know that there's something very, very wrong here. And there is something very, very wrong here, and we need to stop it. And this is the other thing. So what do we do? How do we prevent this civilization from going off the edge the same way all the others did? Well, first and foremost, we have to, if we eliminated corruption on this planet, we could do it. That's first and foremost. The corruption has to go bye-bye.
I concur.
The sooner the better. This attempt at globalism is the basis for most of this corruption. That has to stop. And it's not enough, you know, people, you know, you get a lot of this new airy-fairy, new agey stuff. Well, if you just ignore that and build your own reality, look, people don't get it. How did that work for people in the witch hunts and the Inquisitions? How did that work for them?
Let me retitle it. Do nothing. We've got your back. We'll take care of it all. Just keep waiting.
Yeah. Jesus is going to come and fix it, or somebody else is going. No, there's nobody else. There's us, and these people have to be removed from power. Yeah. We will not survive if they aren't. I'm not going to sit here and give people how that should be achieved, because I don't know, and I don't want to say, well, you must do it this way, because I don't want to preempt a different future in which someone else has a better idea, because maybe they do. I don't know. All I can say is it has to be done.